It's January 2026, and this time last year I started to read the Bible. That sentence alone feels very strange to say out loud, because most of my life the Bible felt intimidating, confusing, and honestly not very accessible. I had tried before more than once. I'd open it, read a few pages, read Genesis a little bit, and just dropped off the ball. I don't know whether I felt overwhelmed, bored, I don't know. I didn't understand it. I didn't continue reading the Bible. So if you've ever felt the Bible isn't for you, no, you're not alone. Have you ever tried to start reading the Bible and stopped? So in January last year, I decided to give it another go. But this time I didn't pretend to know what I was doing. I used Google, my best friend, and I Googled, where should I start reading the Bible, or something to that effect. And someone had just suggested Psalms, so that's where I started. And I'll be really honest, at first, the words were floating off my head. I started reading the Psalm, the next day Psalm 2, the next day Psalm 3, but I was reading it, but I wasn't absorbing the message, if this makes sense. Perhaps at times I didn't understand the context of what I was reading. So by February, maybe February, March, I realized something needs to change. I need a different approach. So I restarted reading the Bible again. But I was determined. I was determined to keep going. I was determined to make this happen. It was the determination of me not closing the Bible and putting it away again, because I knew that there was more to this than just reading the Bible, not only living it, but knowing about the Bible, learning about the Bible, talking about the Bible. So this time I used ChatGPT. I looked up meanings, I asked questions, I explored the history, the symbolism, the intention behind the Psalms, and then I decided to start recording videos, because I thought, wow, the words here are so powerful. And by me recording the videos, I knew then that I could play them myself as I walked, but also too, I could leave a legacy perhaps that my kids can explore later on in their life when they have time and when they realize the power of the Bible and the words. And that decision changed everything. So I'm currently up to Psalm 135. Tomorrow I start with Psalm 136. I generally thought that I'd be finished by the end of last year, but somewhere along the way I realized that this isn't a race. Some Psalms I would sit for days. I would perhaps maybe listen to the same song, the same Psalm 3 or 4 times while I walked in that morning, or maybe sometimes I would listen to it 3 or 4 times along that same week. I'd pray about it, I'd think about it. The Psalm even would challenge me at times. So that's probably why I'm only at Psalm 135. I'm very slow. So do you even struggle sometimes with slowing down your faith? Maybe that's a lesson for you to learn. Do you want to try and rush and get things done? For me, it's just about keep going. So with help, I started to understand Psalms. I learnt that amen doesn't necessarily mean just the end. I learnt the meaning of Sheila, to pause, reflect. And I even learned about olive trees and why they're in the Bible, the endurance, faithfulness, the blessings, the groundedness. And I live in an area where there's a lot of olive trees growing, so it was really nice to walk and see the symbolism right there in front of me. So do you prefer verses that are confronting and that are in your face? Because sometimes I do. So this time with reading Psalms really met me emotionally, through fear, through grief, through hope, through anger, through loneliness, through faith. So now I'm wondering, which is why this video is here, once I finish Psalms, what next? I need help. What do I read next? If you have any suggestions, please leave it below in the comments. So if you're wondering where all my videos are, they're here. Well, some of them are here. I'm just a bit slow in editing, so I've been trying to push out 1 a week. I started with 1 a day, but now I'm up to about 1 a week. But I'm still reading the Psalms, and I'm slowly organizing the Psalms by prayers, by protection, by hope, by strength, getting away from evil even. So would a themed playlist help you? Let me know. I've put playlists there that's just about the Psalms in numerical order. So when did the Psalms meet me in real life? A few months ago I was walking and I was crying. I was in desperation. I had a lot on my plate financially. My husband was even openly worried about money. It made me incredibly anxious. So I feel like I don't have a lot of emotional support at home, and I don't always feel heard. Sometimes I feel like my opinion doesn't carry too much weight. I don't know if it's an age thing, but the Bible helped me find my voice. So I remember one day I walked, it was raining a lot, and I had a jacket on. There was no one else around, and where I live, you know, a lot of the videos show where I live. It's a very coastal region, a lot of water, a lot of rocks. It's just beautiful. So when you walk and it's raining, no one can hear you talk. So I was talking out loud. And as Psalm 55 verse 22 says, cast your cares on the Lord, he will sustain you. And that's exactly what I did. So weeks later, I felt very emotional all week, and I really missed my mum. My mum died approximately 19 years ago, and I really missed her. And at the time I thought, gosh, have I got depression? But then I got a phone call. I had won a major prize, $50,000 in gold. I knew it was a blessing from God. I knew it wasn't a coincidence. So Psalm 37 verse 5, commit your way to the Lord. Trust in him and he will act. So this really cemented my faith even more, because at the time with the Psalms that I was reading was about manifesting, it was about finances, it was about protection, it was about love, and I just knew I was being heard. So then there was another moment that the Psalms felt very accurate. I didn't know how to remove someone from my life, someone who no longer aligned with who I've become. So that very same week, if not the day before, I was reading Psalms about influences and removing yourself away from people. So I'd gone out and I ran into my bridesmaid's mother. So I sat down, I was chatting to her, no problem. And then my bridesmaid's school friend came up and was chatting. And there was a rift between my bridesmaid and the mother. Something that doesn't concern me. We weren't talking about it. And obviously what had happened was the school friend went back and told the bridesmaid that I was talking to the mother. Now, I had been away for a decade, away from all of this. And as I said, I changed a lot and I didn't know how to remove that person from my life. And the very next day she had blocked me. Obviously the school friend had told the bridesmaid that I was talking to the mother, and I was removed, and I knew that was from God. It was a relief. I didn't have to force anything. Have you ever noticed that has God removed somebody from your life when you needed them to go? So my videos have evolved. If you've been here from the beginning, first off, they started maybe perhaps me just talking about Psalms. Then they started me talking about what celebrities have quoted Psalms, because I was really interested to see who was reading the Bible, but why they were reading the Bible. That sort of dropped off by now, because it kept giving me, ChatGPT kept giving me the same quotes from the same celebrities, so that was no reason for me to keep digging that way. Then I started to read and add popular verses. Then I started to read a prayer prior to reading the Psalm. Then I started to add huge prayers after reading the Psalm. Why should you read the Psalm? Who should read the Psalm? So my videos have evolved over time, and the prayers have grown, and I really treasure them. And I really thought, why am I recording these? I thought it would leave a legacy where my kids are ready to read the Bible, and they should be reading the Bible, but they are adults and it's up to them to find the Bible. So I really hope that one day they realize, wow, this is the gift their mother has given them. The Psalm really teaches us about protection, strength, cold hearts, hope, judgment, standing firm, trusting God when life feels overwhelming. So I just wanted to put it out there. I'm sorry I haven't finished Psalms, and I really need your help about what to read next. And let me know if you're enjoying my videos, if there's something that's lacking, if you want me to add. I'd really appreciate it. I really appreciate your help. I'd really like to know, where are you in your faith journey? And if you're not subscribe. We can learn the Bible together. Because remember, it's not about finishing quickly, and I'm going to age a lot by the time I get to the end of the Bible. And this is the Bible that I read from. I'll leave the link in the description box. So as I said, I'm up to Psalm 135. So thank you for being on this journey with me. Until next time.